So we added Cowboy Bebop to the Patreon to watch, finally, right? Like, I'm so behind. But here's how it happened. I was watching a different anime. I was 15 episodes in, had to drop it. I was not vibing with it. So I asked the community, what are we going to do? What's going to replace it? Like, we take votes for everything. That's what we normally do. And they were like, hey, how about this time to make sure you're interested, like maybe do the rule of 3 and watch 3 episodes. I was like, you know what? That's great. So we took a vote. We took first place and second place from that vote. It was Overlord and Bebop. I watched 3 of each, posted reactions to all those, and I was like, dude, this is cool. Overlord was great, but Bebop, the music, like, plus like Tank, like I've played that piece in so many different ensembles, so there's like an identity there. And I feel like there was so much variety in the first 3 episodes of Cowboy Bebop. I was like, my God, just for the musical experience alone, I want to see this, but it's a classic. I'm behind. There's FOMO. Like, I liked Overlord too. I mean, I'm a D&D nerd, so that was, cool, but this is the direction I chose. So anyway, this piece, Rush, I feel like it was during episode 1. I think someone reminded me it was during the fight scene at the end. I can't remember, but I just remember I made a comment like, I need to hear this outside of the anime, so we can just like listen to the music. Okay, here we go. Saxoli. That drum responds right back. We'll go back in a second. That's beautiful playing. Oh, the bass line is so good. And the guitar is tucked away right in the pocket. It's perfect. Hello, trumpets. Ooh! Screaming. Oh, the Barry player cutting through there. Hello, trombone. Oh, all that call response. That's beautiful. All right, before we get into the trombone solo, we're already a minute and 23 seconds in. That went so fast. All right, so first things first. I love this kind of music. I get these questions often. They're like, Tony, what do you play? Like, what's your favorite stuff? It's this. The most like professional playing experience I have is in groups like this, like straight up big band stuff, all kinds of chart reading. This is where I'm the happiest. I like playing a lot of music. I love salsa. I love going salsa dancing. I love salsa music a lot. Funk stuff, like playing funk bass, super fun. I'm such a limited drum set player. Like funk jams are kind of the only place I can hang out. But, it is what it is. Primarily play bass in these scenarios. But anyway, I love this kind of stuff. Listen to the sax solo out of the gate. It's so clean. That's so good. I mean, it's a bebop lick, right? Like, it makes sense. Like, it's nice little super tight harmonies on there. All the players are great. And then the drum responds. The kit player responds really well to this. Yeah, that's beautiful. Boom. Rakataka, kick to snare, mix between hi-hat and snare, and we call it out. Like, it's just, everything that you need to hear is right there. One more time, we'll go on. I promise. It's just... Yeah, it's beautiful, man. And then bass comes in and everything starts happening. We know where we're going. The guitar player, though, like, since you can hear them really well right now because they're super exposed because all the rest of the brass and woodwinds aren't there. This level of like playing in the pocket, meaning just playing perfectly in time, just corresponding so well with the rest of the rhythm section. The guitar player is like just primo. This is not too much, but it's perfect. And the reason I stopped to take time to talk about that is because there's so many times where it's not. So when it is, even though you'd be like, well, Tony, that's a pretty simple line. Yeah, it is. But, sometimes less is massively more. And it just sets everything up for when these saxes come back in to start this line. Melodies in. Yeah, man. And it's swinging so hard. And maybe you don't know what swing means. Swing, without getting like too nerdy here in our music stuff. I mean, swing rhythm is different than straight rhythm. Straight rhythm, in the most basic explanation, very straight, very just metric. That's like a super square way to explain like a real tangible difference between straight and swung. But all of this, like those are all swung rhythms. They're burning though. Now you want to talk about where the heat actually is on the right hand of the drummer, the kit player on the ride cymbal. That's where all those ride patterns are going to go. When really driving the swing, that's where the like first interpretation of the swing is going to be at. All that, all the stuff that we're here. We'll go back and like 15 seconds. Just kind of isolate, listen down to the right. Well, you can't tell the limbs. I'm just letting you know. If they're a right-handed player, it's going to be their right hand. But try to listen to that really dominant. You can hear all the articulations on the ride cymbal. Now, that wasn't as like crazy as some of the things I sang to you because we go in other spots where the drummers really, really, really drive and things kind of get outrageous. But why is that important? It's important because the bass player is locking into that massively. Between the right hand and the foot on the kick drum, the bass player is going to fit in like they're outlining the chord changes. So bass is like the tonal drummer that moves and just kind of gives the rudiments within the chord structure. They're obviously going to interact with the guitarist and the keyboard player because fundamentally the chords, we're all playing the same changes. But the drummer, you can't have drummer and bass player be here. You have to be locked in. And the more that they are just one person, even though they're two bodies, obviously, but the more that their brains are together, the swing is going to be that much more stanky, if that makes sense. So when that's locked in, then the horn line you can have a great horn section that will sound great playing together, but if the rhythm section sucks, like it's not going to swing. It's going to swing like a rusty gate. Like it's not going to happen. So when it's like this, it feels really good. So that's nice. Sorry. We had to geek out there for a moment, just appreciate what's going on. And you'll notice more when the bass player right here starts walking. So what does that mean? What does walking mean? So instead of like doom da boom doom da, they're going doom doom ding 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 doom boom 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 boom. We're a walking bass line. All we're really doing is just we look at the chart, we see where the chord changes are. We're gonna connect, like it's literally like putting dots on the page, and you connect them all and make sure it's a nice contour. Better bass players have more sophisticated contours. Now, even though you might be like, well, you're just kind of doing this. That's the goal. But trust me, there are plenty of like jumpy players that don't connect the chords very well, and it feels very abrupt as we change through the chords. And if you're gonna play in a big band group, your walking proficiency skill set, it has to be good. Like it has to be good. You got to be, you have to be able to flow through the changes really well and keep all those relationships with everyone around you on the bandstand really well together. And that's why this music is so fun. And I really enjoy talking about this stuff because most folks, when you just listen to it, you're just listening. It's like, it's a whole culture of what it means to be a musician on the bandstand, like doing this stuff and like respecting the history of it. And all the magic that happens real time when you're playing with the people and reading the chart and just, big band is not really like a conducted. I mean, you might see people up there like, they count a tune off and stuff, but they might give horn hits here and there or cue solos. Yeah, cool. But as far as the ensemble, you're just listening and playing. There's not that many of you. It's just, it's trumpet section, trombone section, saxophone. You got your rhythm section, and maybe you have an auxiliary player and some built out things, but and a couple people double on other instruments. It's not a huge ensemble, so it's very intimate feeling. And when you're playing in there and everyone's like a burning player, it's cool. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's very, very, very enjoyable. God, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. And I miss I miss doing this shit all the time, How about the writing? I know we're stopping a lot, but we need to. What up? When I said, how about the writing, I mean the arrangement. I think about like what the seatbelts are playing here, like all the notes on the page. Okay. So like a really, really, really great job has been done. Listen to the relationships between woodwinds and brass as they're being traded back and forth. Come on, man. Da-ga, da-ga. you got to have some strong lead players to nail all that stuff, man. It's cool. When you're standing like in front of that, it sounds so great. Oh, man. Can you hear all those basement digs with the Barry sax player? That sounds so good. Like, again, like, you know, we talked about contour of the bass player. There's also a contour within the arrangement as a whole. And so the planning and like how you foresee how you want to deliver all these musical ideas to the audience, because you just want people. The average normal person is not doing what we're doing. They're not active listening. They're just experiencing. But your brain, you still take it all in. You know, like your senses are still going to hear all that stuff. You might not in the moment be like, oh shit, the Barry sax part was really cool. But we're going to talk about that because we didn't dip down to that voice. We're like a minute and 13 in. Like we didn't really get that low end from the woodwinds until then. It's like that's careful placement of when they're going to give that to us. So you have to really appreciate this stuff. Sorry. Listen to all that work between. Okay, we're about to be in the trombone solo. We're going to go in 1 second, but you have to go back 10 seconds and you have to hear all those exchanges that started with trombone and they just kind of go through the ensemble. That's really, really great. That's a great arrangement. All right, let's hear that again and we'll get into the feature here. Here we go. There's our auxiliary percussion. Ooh. Oh. The backgrounds. Okay. Wow. Wow, the synths are going wild on the left side. Beautiful bass line there. Trombone feature is heavenly long. All right, now we can stop it and go back. Okay, so that was a big chunk. A lot of outstanding things happened during the feature. I think, was it start like 113? Let's just find out. Oh, this is where the build into it. All right, so first and foremost, what do you notice? You're right. Obviously, the bass player has lain out, okay? So we're going to create a tension with actually removing a layer there. And it's really nice because we say it all the time, but you know what it is. Variety is the spice of life. This is really, really, really important in this music, especially with big band charts, because you could, but you don't want a whole time just blast your audience in the face with the, full on trumpets just melting your eyeballs back. You got to give part of that contour. Okay. The contour has to be there. This is really nice. So the trombone gets the solo, we pull away, the bass player is pulled out. So that low end, the tonal drummer is gone for a moment. They're going to come back, obviously, but the floor completely falls out. So it creates a wonderful effect, allowing the trombone player, by the way, to fit in and build a solo at a much more reasonable pace, right? Because you take away some of that competing low end sound, because think about it, tonality trombone, tonality bass, not the same, obviously, and the way they deliver the sound is different, but they still are in a similar role of register. So you pull that away, you're going to give that player a little bit more room to breathe, and that, no pun intended. But it's nice though, and then it also gives the ears of the listener somewhere to go. What's the other big thing they added in? Obviously, auxiliary percussion. Listen to all the hand drums here; it gives a very, very, very different effect. But what's the coolest part? All all this background stuff that's going on that is like super like chill at the beginning, but it's going to build and build and it keeps there. I thought they were going to abandon it before they did. It just keeps layering and layering. So it's kind of a cool little audio experience. Diggity-got nice solo ideas too. Boom. Boom. So bass player camping out in those notes, just an octave difference. And then the response on the brass, pretty dissonant, but obviously on purpose. But it adds, it's like popping your collar up, man. It just adds that little flair to the chart that is really, really nice. Again. Then we get that kind of like tongue-in-cheek little quote there just from how that's moving. It's not really, but you can feel it. But the bass player changing the rhythm and kind of doom, 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 giving us that. That is, once again, variety, right? Like, so we're still moving in that direction of simple ideas. Nothing like the chord change we had before. There's really no change yet. We're not walking whatsoever. So you can see how different this section is for the trombone solo. And that, folks, that's why jazz, like, this is so cool. Like, this is very common. It's not like you're listening to something like, oh my God, this only happens here in the song. No, man. This is the practice of this music. All big band charts have stuff like this. Also, the better arranger, the better it's going to be, and the better the players, the better the experience is going to be, obviously. But just for folks that maybe don't peruse this kind of music, put it in there, man. Like, put it into your rotation, and you'll be surprised how much stuff there is to feed your ears in a really, really positive way. I'm sorry. Were there bird sounds? What is? I could be full of shit right now. I swear to God, I heard like bird sounds here. They're there. Why? What does that do? Backgrounds are all nice. Go, tickety go, tickety go. All the layers. That was cool. We're about to close it out here, but we came out of that solo super saturated in the backgrounds. The backgrounds meaning all the stuff that the brass woodwind players are playing and the other hits that we have in the auxiliary percussion it's pretty much constant with the drummer though. But those like, if we're hearing bird sounds, there's probably some synth stuff going on there. And those lines really stayed constant and just built kind of a slow build, a slow crescendo over that whole experience with the trombone player. So remember how it started? Bass player faded out and we ended up with that. That was pretty nice. All right, let's let it finish out here. Ooh. Bass player gets a jam on the way out. Man. Oh, I like that. Almost simulated. Borderline simulated halftime. And there's our reel. The last one fooled me. That was really cool. The bass player got to say some things there at the end. That's important. Okay, well, we get. I get made fun of all the time. We take a 3-minute song and we turn it into a 20-minute video. We could go for an hour easily. It's very easy to do. Talking about music is very fun. It's healthy. It's the way you should do it. Listen. Have plenty of time where you listen to stuff passively. Just let it play. But then it's healthy to go in there and just kind of like listen down and go. See what's going on. And if you want to be a musician, you know, you got to do this. If you're a musician already, you already know that. I'm not talking to you, but these are, you know, it's just like, it's our sort of musician culture of how we approach stuff. So it's kind of cool. Anyway, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below, please, and thank you. What did we learn? Yoko Kanno is a genius. She is so good. Her arrangement and composition styles, it's just 10 out of 10. So I'm looking forward to hearing lots more of her music. My name is DrumRollTony. Catch me live on Twitch. You can find a link for my socials down in the video description below. Please and thank you. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and catch the next video. YouTube thinks you want to watch one of these two videos next. Have a great day. Take it easy. Bye-bye.